What's good, fam? We are back with another breakdown of the absolute chaos surrounding the boy right now. Drake just handed the house $1.5 million because he thought gambling could fix his image. But even Toronto was over him after that brutal rejection.
It's under great circumstances because we are able to mostly close the book on what has been one of the most daunting and consequential stories to come out of the world of music in the last year.
Drake claps back at haters after getting booed off stage. So Sunday night, Drake was the surprise headliner for Tyler, the Creator's Camp Flog Gnaw Festival in LA, and to say some people weren't too happy about it would be an understatement.
On July 19, 2026, he put down a massive $1.5 million on Argentina to beat Spain in the World Cup final. Most people call that a high-stakes play, but we just call it a tax for being the most cursed man in sports history. Spain took the match 1-0 after Ferran Torres scored a late goal in extra time, which is where the OVO camp got cooked. Since his bet required Argentina to win inside 90 minutes, that extra time goal turned his entire investment into dust immediately. If that ticket had actually hit, he would have walked away with a huge $5.1 million payout. Instead, he just became the favorite meme of the internet for the 100th time this year.
About our favorite artist on this channel once again, Aubrey, Drake, Graham, Drizzy, Champagne Poppy.
This is not just about bad luck, because it looks like a desperate attempt to buy back a winning reputation through a sports book. Since the music charts are not giving him that same energy, he is using these public wagers to stay associated with the top spot. He needs the world to see him as a winner, but he has just proven he cannot catch a break even with world champions. The Drake curse has evolved from a joke into a symptom of a larger collapse in his professional life. You can tell he is chasing a victory because the streets and the critics are not giving it to him for free anymore. Every time he posts a massive ticket, it feels like he is trying to prove he is still that guy. Losing $5 million in potential winnings just makes it look like he is spiraling in front of everyone.
Especially by that point, it was clear that Drake was getting desperate, not getting what he wanted, and was probably going to lose.
Just 5 days after that loss on the soccer pitch, Drake thought he could find some comfort back home, but it was a nightmare. On July 24th, 2026, he showed up at the Budweiser Stage for a Limp Bizkit concert in his own city. You would think a hometown hero gets a standing ovation, but the crowd hit him with a massive chorus of boos. The noise was so loud, it actually confused the performers who were currently on the stage. Frontman Fred Durst literally stopped the music to ask the fans if they were serious about the hate they were showing. His exact words were that he thought Drake was their homie, but the energy was strictly negative from start to finish.
But unfortunately, the crowd did not want him to keep going and continued to boo him.
Like I said, I'm here for you tonight. If you want to keep going, I will keep going tonight. What's up?
This shows that the Kendrick Lamar effect has finally reached the casual fans in Canada who used to be his strongest base. For years, Drake had this untouchable shield in Toronto, but that protection is officially dead after the Kendrick feud. When your own city starts booing you at a rock show, you have lost the home field advantage for good. The way I see it is simple, because we are watching a total cultural eviction happening in real time across the entire industry. The Not Like Us momentum did not just stay in the States, and it successfully stripped him of his safe space. Toronto was always his fortress, but now the gates are open and the people are tired of the narrative he pushes.
Drake claps back at haters after getting booed off stage. So Sunday night, Drake was the surprise headliner for Tyler, the Creator's Camp Flog Gnaw Festival in LA, and to say some people weren't too happy about it would be an understatement.
Getting rejected at a rock show is a specific kind of humiliation because it proves the casual listeners have picked a side. The reality is that you cannot sue your way back into being cool, and no amount of gambling money fixes this connection. Drake is finding out that when the vibes shift this drastically, there's nowhere left to hide, not even in his city. This rejection is the loudest signal yet that his era of undisputed dominance has reached a very messy and public conclusion. He might still be the biggest name in the city, but he is no longer the favorite son. That is a loss that hurts way more than $1 million bet on a soccer game. This financial disaster actually traces back to the Octagon earlier that same month when he took another heavy loss that proved the Drake curse is still very real.
Like, this has got to be one of the dumbest, stupidest, most idiotic, like, self-inflicted L's in all of history.
On July 11, 2026, he wagered $1 million on Conor McGregor at UFC 329, only for a knee injury to end the fight before things even got started. Every time he backs an athlete their luck seems to vanish instantly, and the total losses are starting to look horrific for his bank account. His public betting losses have climbed past $5.7 million since April of 2024, leaving him with a win rate of only 36.8%. While most people will be completely broke by now, a darker conversation is happening behind the scenes regarding where that gambling money actually originates. A class action lawsuit from January of 2026 alleges that Drake and Aiden Ross used stake funds to run a large botting operation that inflated his streaming numbers.
It's under great circumstances because we are able to mostly close the book on what has been one of the most daunting and consequential stories to come out of the world of music in the last year.
These legal claims suggest the gambling losses are just a tactic to hide how money is being moved to keep his career looking successful. The alleged cycle involves the house paying him to gamble with their own funds, which then flow back into the system to keep his songs on every playlist. This allows his music to dominate the charts, even when the actual listeners are not feeling the vibe. If these allegations are proven true, the very base of his recent success is nothing more than a house of cards that is already on fire. These high-profile wagers might just be a distraction, while lawyers investigate how his streaming stats were manipulated to hide his fading status in the game. You cannot buy your way back into the heart of the culture, and if he is truly botting his way to the top, the industry needs to rethink hits. This spiral into gambling feels less like a hobby and more like a desperate attempt to fix his reputation through the lens of a digital casino. While the money disappears at a record pace, he is also trying to use the legal system to rewrite the history of how Kendrick Lamar can destroy him. His team recently filed a 60-page appeal after his defamation lawsuit over the song Not Like Us was dismissed, making the OVO camp look incredibly desperate.
It's under great circumstances because we are able to mostly close the book on what has been one of the most daunting and consequential stories to come out of the world of music in the last year.
UMG and their lawyers called this appeal very hypocritical, noting that he spent a decade building his success on disrespectful diss tracks aimed at everyone in the game. It is a weak move to spend years attacking other men's families only to run to a judge the moment someone hits back with a harder truth. His biggest obstacle is the federal judge who ruled in October of 2025 that Kendrick's lyrics were nothing more than protected opinion under the law. He is arguing that the labels and artists conspired against him, but the courts are basically saying that losing a rap battle is not a legal crime. This large document is not about money, especially since he clearly has enough cash to lose millions on sports bets without even breaking a sweat. He wants a court order to delete the public record of his defeat so he can retreat to his mansion and pretend this whole era never happened. He is looking for a judge to call Kendrick a liar so he can return to his safe suburban bubble and act like the king of the charts. This is a desperate attempt to use the legal system as a delete button for his failures, but the facts are already cemented in the culture. No amount of legal jargon can erase the memory of that Super Bowl performance or the way the world sang along to a song about his behavior. The courts are his final refuge because he knows he lost the battle on the streets, and watching him sue for victory is truly embarrassing.
Like, this has got to be one of the dumbest, stupidest, most idiotic, self-inflicted L's in all of history.
Before we move on and see how that bloated Iceman project completely failed to fix his image, tell me what y'all think. Is Drake using the courts to hide his loss? The ultimate desperate move? Tell me in the comments. No cap. While you at it, like and subscribe. Let's continue. Even his music isn't providing a safety net anymore, especially since that triple album, Iceman, dropped in May of 2026 and completely failed to fix his image after the Kendrick feud. Fans were looking for a classic project that reminded them why they liked him, but he delivered a bloated mess that felt like the same tired complaints. Critics really took him to task for ignoring the core issues Kendrick brought to the surface, and the streets didn't have the stomach for 75 songs of him acting like a victim. Everything changed for good during that Super Bowl performance back in February of 2025, and we are seeing the long-term fallout of that night hitting him hard right now. Kendrick used that global stage to issue a cultural eviction notice that has been planned out in slow motion for over a year. I honestly believe Drake is going to stop trying to compete in the domestic hip-hop conversation because he knows he can't dominate the space anymore. He will likely pivot even harder into global branding deals and international sports partnerships because that is the only place where his name still carries corporate weight. We might see him try to buy his way into becoming the face of global soccer or another world stage where fans don't care about the Kendrick beef.
But did not want him to keep going and continued to boo him.
Like I said, I'm here for you tonight. If you want to keep going, I will keep going tonight. What's up?
The streets have already reached a verdict, and they made their choice without needing a judge to weigh in. No lawsuit can force the public to think you are cool again, and no amount of stake money can fix a connection that you burned down yourself. Drake is finding out that being rich isn't the same thing as being respected. And in this game, respect is the only currency that actually matters. This entire situation is a lesson for anyone who thinks a big bank account and a team of lawyers can help them outrun the truth. He might still be moving millions of dollars, but he lost the heart of the culture, and that is a debt you can never pay back once it goes into collections. Before we see how he handles the next legal battle, I want to know if you think Toronto is officially done with the OVO era. Tell me what you think in the comments. No cap, and make sure you like and subscribe before we continue.